Can you describe the scene here in Lahinch on a typical Garland Sunday?
Well, the first thing was, once you come down from the 8:30 Mass, the street started to fill up. And all the way up as far as, the strange thing was that all of the stalls that would come would be on the garage side of the seaside of Lahinch. So from Hession's corner up to Kinney's, there'd be stands all the way up along of everything. There was never anything on our side for some reason, and I never know why. But on the evening before, we would have put out markers to some of the people who would be coming to the Garland Sunday, hawkers as they were called. They were prats from Limerick, and we'd put out a mineral box over across a Baby Reedy's pole, and that would indicate that they were there. Then Mrs. Lenan, who lived where the chipper is now, somebody else would have asked her to put out a box. Mary Ross, who was at the corner, whoever be there would get in touch with her during the week, and you'd have all these boxes lined up so that any stranger who would come in for the first time, he went further up the street or around the corner over towards the promenade. And as I say, come 11 o'clock, the place was a hive of activity. The trains came in, and they went slowly through the procession, go down the street. Everybody was walking up and down the street all day long. The promenade was only the same length as the street. It finished at O'Looney's. So those who went over onto the promenade for a walk, that was thronged as well. There was just people in mass everywhere. The beach would have a reasonable amount of people. People coming by train would be coming to the beach as well as Garland Sunday and going down there. But it was a special day for all of the local community, all of the farmers and others of Lahinch who had nothing else to do. That was their day out. And it was often said, people would say to one another, "We'll see you Garland Sunday." That was a common expression. And
did you ever hear it referred to as Garlic Sunday?
Always Garlic Sunday. There was different. The name Barney O'Higgins then said the Arannachs used to come in for Lughnasa. You know, and the Irish interpretation of it would have been another story, I think.
Yeah, Donna Crum Dove.
Lughnasa was Anglican, and it was called Lughnasa throughout Ireland, and there was a Lughnasa assembly in many parts of Ireland. But the Gaelic Sunday, or the Garland Sunday, remained the only one intact. I don't think there's another in the whole of Ireland called Garland Sunday. And I think it's the link between that and St. Bridget's Well that held it, rather than the commercial Lughnasa pagan custom of gathering. The rounds were. We had one family who used to come up. We had two families. We had one family who came from Limerick, Reddens, and we had our own cousins. That's people from Rowan, who came in pony and trap, and they would be allowed to put their pony and trap into Flanagan's yard. Now they came and they'd have a meal with us, and then that hit for St. Bridget's Well. And they came back and they did maybe an hour or two on the street, and come 6 o'clock they'd have a cup of tea and leave for home. The Limerick people were taking 3 to 4 hours, I think. Rowan, it took them nearly 2 hours to go down with the pony and trap. They went to Corofin into Rowan, not by Ennis. The Garland Sunday hawkers, as we'll call them, became known to all of us. They were regulars year after year, the same people. And
what did they sell, or what kind of amusements did they have?
At the very corner, Hession's corner, there was a rifle range. Fella had a 7-foot long counter, and he had 2 guns, and he had 2 targets in the back wall there, and you pellet guns there. The next stock was a fella with jewellery. He had a black rug, jet black type, out over the thing. It was about that height stand, and two of them stood there selling jewellery. The next stall up at Bakery was a spin the wheel fella, lucky numbers, and he had all sorts of crockery and different things for sale, or you win as this. You could set a set of Delft.
Would you buy a ticket for that?
You
one?
bought a ticket for 3p, and you spin the wheel. Now he was possibly collecting maybe up to £2 or more with his ticket. He had to sell the full line of tickets before he'd spin the wheel. In other words, he had to take in £2 a time. Whatever, I don't know, but I'm saying you figure loosely of £2. He'd have to sell £2 worth of tickets, and then his price would maybe be £1, £2 or £3. But people would take what they wanted. It might be set of knives for some, it might be a child's tie for another. Another one might take the set of cups and saucers. Different things. Holy pictures were part of it. Big selection of holy pictures like you'd have at a stand. There'd be in the back there all these great selection of religious goods. Then the next fland up opposite the chipper that's there now in the main street, on that one there was a big huge stand of fruit, all you get in a shop. Apples, oranges, bananas, chocolate, gary cakes, bullseyes, you name it, licorice. They had all of that stuff that you'd want. Then up at Ross's corner there was a Forte fella with the colours, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like roulette or...
Roulette. He was there at Ross's. At the garage then there was another shooting gallery fella. Next to them there was a lady with a pitch and bowl. She pitch a coin into a bowl. Up at Ben's there was a fellow again who said fruit only, all sorts of fruit for sale. Then up at Mac's corner there was another fella. He had different garments for sale, like a hawker, the clothing, the Indian fella. He was there near Nan Mac's, this guy. Then up at Kinney's there was one or two other fellas. I can't recall what they would be having. There was a three-car trick fella mobile up and down the street then with a tea box.
Do you ever remember Paddy Sherlock doing the three-car trick there?
Yeah. He used to be above at Avondale near Kinney's shop now. But he would only go for, as soon as he'd see the guards coming, he'd go over the laneway and he'd go down the promenade out below and he'd be at the garage in for another while. And when the guards were on their way down again, he was gone. But
did you ever hear him telling stories? Did you ever hear him telling any stories?
No, I did not. I heard him on radio years later.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard him on the radio.
He was on BBC as well, yes. Now, there was the strong man as well, I believe.
That's right. He was usually there around Cuimhneamh Islands. He was in the laneway there. He had a stuff inside the laneway. But he had a cartwheel and he used to balance a horse cartwheel in his chin. Put himself up like that. He'd lift various weights. But this was to me and to all of us young lads, this lifting of the cartwheel and balancing on his chin was the act of the day. He had other stuff, different weights that he used to live in. He had a sack of sand of so much weight, and he'd lift it up with one hand and hold it up. Then he'd put he'd lie himself down on his back, and he'd have a bottle, and you could hit him as hard as you could with a pint bottle in the chest. He had that, and he'd stand up then, and you could hit him in the chest, and if he waved, you got 6p. And I remember big lads trying to, and no good. He was solid. Then there was further up there was a fella there who used to do the bed of nails and that sort of stuff. They would come and go at that type of. There was some of them that you'd maybe only have them every third or fourth year.